Hey, it's me. Today I have something
A little different for you guys.
Not my nails though, because they've been the same for a month now. Let me just go get the stuff. Hello? Ah, flowers. These are a bunch of fake flowers that I bought from the Dollar Tree. I want to see if I can paint these.
Interesting idea, okay.
Obviously, they're not the best quality on the planet. The petals are really thin and a little wonky, but hey, be nice. They were $1. Here's the tag. Why does that matter? I don't know. So first, I want to select and cut off individual flowers that I'm interested in.
Hey, do you come here often?
So I went through all this trouble trying to cut through the wire with scissors to get a couple of these flowers free.
I thought you said they were $1.
It was kind of a pain. Ow. Literally. Ever heard of wire cutters? It took a toll on my scissors as well. And then after all of that, I decided, you know what? Let's just ditch the stems. We don't need them. I have really bad aim. That is frustrating to watch. So I just popped off the stem, got rid of it. I'm just gonna work with the flower only. Why didn't I make this decision in the first place? So here are my 3 amigos, and I'm gonna decorate all of them today. I'm gonna be painting them with fabric paint, which I am not a stranger to. I use this stuff a lot. Let's start with this white one. You know, it's a flower, it's pretty.
Basic.
So let's try to make it a little bit more interesting. In order to paint this, I'm actually gonna do some disassembly here first. Just hold on to the petals and the plastic pieces pop right off. Also, this little center part, little like pom-pom, likes to fall apart and get all over the place. Super crumbly. Here are all my pieces. First, I'm gonna work on the petals. So I'm bringing out some pink paint and just, going for it. And the petals are so thin that the paint just leaks right through.
Oops.
Don't really know what to do about that yet, so I'm just gonna keep going, and it just keeps getting messier and messier. It's becoming clear to me that
This is not working.
wait, what am I even trying to do? A popsicle stick? Really? So after scrubbing my hands raw to clean off that paint, I decided maybe wearing gloves is the best way to do this, and now I'm going to paint the other set of petals. So I'm struggling a little bit. Believe it or not, this is the first time I've ever painted on fake flowers. Shocking. I wanted to be able to lay it flat, but since the paint was seeping through the petals, I didn't want it to stick on the bottom. So I got out a sheet of plastic and I'm gonna lay it on that so that the paint doesn't stick. So now I can paint it laying flat, or never mind, I'm picking it up. Nope. Setting it down, picking it up. Obviously, I'm kind of making this up as I go, and I have no idea what I'm doing. What am I doing? But it gets better, so just stay with me for a sec. So I put about 4 layers of fabric paint on these, which if you don't know, fabric paint is basically just paint that's made to be stretchy, which is important because you need the paint to be able to bend and fold with the fabric, or the petals in this case. And if you use something like acrylic paint, which is not stretchy, it will just kind of chip off when it bends, and it's not cute. Not that I think most people are actually gonna try this, but you know, it doesn't matter. After all that fiasco, I now have 2 sets of plain pink petals. Whoop-de-hoop-de-doodle-de-doo. I haven't done anything yet. On the bright side, the paint did help the petals to feel a lot more sturdy, and they're no longer see-through, so that's good. So now what? So I decided to try to make them look realistic. By adding some shading to them, which was turning out pretty terribly. It was very splotchy and uneven, but I just kept on trying. I'm just gonna pretend that things are going well. So I finished that, and you know, I hate them. They look ugly. So I went over that with the original pink color. Let's just start over. Ignore what you just saw. So we're back to the plain pink, and I'm gonna bring in my posca markers. Wrong order. There we go. Well, so these are going to end up layered on top of each other, obviously. So the realistic thing wasn't working for me, so I decided to go... What? Sorry. I decided to go for something that you would not see in the natural world, you know, something cool and designy. So I drew on a band of rainbow running across each petal and then repeated that on the other set of petals as well. Now for this nasty little scraggly centerpiece, I'm gonna try to clean this up a little bit. So I trimmed it up with some scissors just to create like a neater, tighter shape. I used a binder clip to hold it while I smothered it in pink paint, which was a good feeling because I was getting really tired of cleaning up the little crumbs that are dropping off of this all over the place, and the paint will just seal all of that in really nicely so that it's no longer pooping all over the place. And I'm using one of my discarded stems to hold up the little leafy back piece. I guess I need to brush up on my flower anatomy, huh? And I'm painting that in a brighter green to match with my new vibe. We kicked realism to the curb. I'm now going for bright and colorful. So we have our petals and our frilly little center thing. Now all that's left to do is put it all back together. And voila! So I have no idea if people are gonna like this or not. It's kind of a weird idea, kind of a weird design for, you know, a flower, but I think it actually looks pretty cool. I don't know what you think, but I kind of like it. And I thought it would be cool to add these as little pieces of decor around my art room. Moving on to this pink flower, which is actually kind of pretty. It looks kind of nice. No, change my mind. It looks cheap. Rude. Just like before, I'm gonna start by ripping it apart. We got all our pieces. Ew. And I'm getting right into painting. I chose white for this one. That's right, I painted the white flower pink and the pink flower white. Smart. Painting flowers. It's an idea. I've never seen anybody else do this, but I literally just walked into the Dollar Tree and I was like, I'm gonna find something I can paint in here, and this is what I walked out with. Side note, look how these things drank that white paint. Gone. You know what? I should do this with a bunch of different stores. Just like walk in looking for something to paint on and see what I end up with. Maybe painting on some really strange things. Anyway, if anyone does end up doing this,
Bless your heart.
please tag me on Instagram at Mariah Elizabeth Official, because I would really want to see that if somebody else does this.
No, that's not a thing.
Finally, I have these as solid white, so I'm again bringing in the poscas. And I'm gonna add some polka dots to these petals, which is another interesting choice. It looks a little wild. Now, posca pens are technically acrylic paint pens, but unlike using straight acrylic paint, you are supposed to be able to use these on fabric. And there we go. Bringing in the twin. Wonderful. Now to deal with this nasty little thing. It's gonna get a haircut, and I'm just gonna smother that in white puppy paint. And once all of that has dried, it's my favorite time. I thought I was gonna be done after that, but I decided to go in and add some tiny little speckles of color to the center because this flower was just not looking wild enough already. So here's the final result. What is that? It's really kind of bizarre, and I like it. It looks almost like the flower has some sort of rare disease in a good way. I think I'll put it with my dessert themed birdhouse. Oh, that looks cute. And the last flower I'm gonna decorate is a little bit different. It's a rose. It still comes apart basically the same way. We just have a few more petals to deal with. Oh, a surprise little basket in there.
Are you gonna come off?
No? Yes?
There we go. I'm gonna set all of that aside, and we've got a mess of petals to paint. So I'm doing this. Yes, let me explain. For this flower, I want to paint the petals double-sided, so have one color on one side and another color on the other side. So I thought if I did a layer of puffy paint, which is kind of thicker and more gluey than the matte paint that I was using before, maybe it will fill in the holes enough to prevent the paint from leaking through the other side. Okay, so I'm just full out finger painting now. Once those were dry, I can finally test out my theory and see if my experiment worked. So, kind of. It did keep the paint from seeping through as much as before, but it still does go through a little bit. Here I am figuring out my design, doing very complex calculations. I decided to try to create a rainbow rose. The first set of petals is every other color of the rainbow, then the next set of petals is the remaining colors of rainbow, and then the next petal set is back to the first color set, then back again to the remaining colors. Got it? The final layer has 5 petals, which ruins everything because there are 6 colors in my design, so we have to leave one color off. That hurts me. and still making a mess here. First layer of paint is done, so now I'm going for layer number 2. Now, I don't know you. Maybe you prefer the kind of plain, more natural looking flowers like they were before, which I understand, but I'm kind of a sucker for customization. I love making things my own and taking something that's generic and there's a million of and making it unique. It's my favorite thing. And here's where I realize the easiest way to paint these, just by sticking something into the center where that little hole is, that'll just keep it steady while I paint. No gloves, no mess. Why did I just realize this now? Although it does make filming a little bit more challenging. That ended up being so much faster and easier. So now we're going. Now we're getting somewhere, of course, when the video is almost over. So I have one side of the petals painted. I'm gonna flip them over and paint the back side, and I'm going
Black.
I was very concerned that the black paint was gonna leak through and ruin all of the color that I had put on the other side, but I'm just gonna go for it and hope for the best. I decided on black because I wanted something dramatic, high contrast, you know, so it would be like bright color on the inside and then black on the outside. I thought, you know, it might look cool. All right, so that's done. Let's see how we're looking on the inside. Not too bad.
Nice.
There's some touching up to be done, but basically this worked out pretty well, so I'm just touching all of this up and getting everything looking neat again. And I'm definitely gonna paint this part. I'm not feeling this swampy mucus green color, so I'm covering that up with the same green that I used in the petals. Very natural. Now all of my petals are dry, and it's time to reassemble. Oh, something's still wet. Anyway, I don't like how the center looks, so I stole one of these center doohickeys. I should probably just learn the right word for that thing so I can stop sounding ridiculous. Nasty little scraggly centerpiece, little like pom-pom, really little center thing, center doohickeys, nasty little thing. I stole this from another flower and I'm painting it black, so this did not come in the rose originally, but shh, that doesn't matter. We're gonna add it anyway. I did have to alter it just a little bit to be able to fit. Careful there. This may not be a proper rose body part, but we're inventing a new flower species. So here's the final result. It's interesting. I go back and forth about whether I like the black or not. Is it cool? Is it whack? I don't know. It doesn't look exactly as I pictured it in my head, but it's also not bad either. It's definitely a lot more interesting and unique now than it was before, so that's good. You know what? Yes, I like it, I think. Hey, it looks pretty good with this rainbow cake squishy that I made way back in the day. Cool. Okay, and those are my 3 flower creations. I'm very interested to hear what you guys have to say about these because I'm somewhat undecided about this myself. Either way, I did have fun making these, and I'm glad to have some more cool looking things around to decorate my art room. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next Friday. Bye!